Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map, and this is the second part of the interview with Liz Westwater. Hi Liz again.
Hey, Kasha.
We actually, because we both so in love with plants and essential oils and flower essences and decks, with the like an hour was really not enough. So I just want to talk to Liz, and I didn't want to stop it. So this is the second part, and we stopped when Liz was showing her decks. I will show just a couple, like miniature couple of my herbal decks. I show you my favorite ones and maybe couple of ones that I just pulled on my table, because I'm still yet to do that video that VRs are popping up to that doesn't exist yet, but it's going to come. So like I said, at least if you watch the first part, you will know this is right now my favorite flower plant deck, and also this power of flowers. I use it as well. I don't know. I just like very healing and soft energy. Both of these decks. I also really love, and that's a repetition if you watched any of my videos. This herbal healing deck. I think this is such a fantastic written guidebook. It's really great, and it also speaks about flower essences. It speaks about psychology, speaks about just like embodied practice with the herb. And first card is of course rose. So I don't know if this deck is out of print right now. I believe I know that I bought it from Tarot from Anya at some point when she was just like letting go of her copy. So it always reminds me of her as well. And it's just like plant spirits. So there you go, black cohosh, and we talked about this plant as well. There's some trees. There's trees, flowers, leafy bits, and roots. And it's an amazingly it's a healing deck. So this one is something that I hope they will reprint because it was really cheap when it was out. It's by Schiffer, I think. Yeah. So I hope they're going to print it out, or maybe people selling those. I don't know. I also love that one with Joanna Colbert
Yeah,
and Joanna Powell Colbert and Latisha Guthrie.
Guthrie,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love this deck. This is a really great deck. I think you have it as well, right?
I do. I pulled
It's
it out too.
yeah, the Herbcrafter's tarot. It's really, first of all, it's a tarot, so it's like a little bit a different vibe to most of the healing decks that I have, oracles, the plant decks, except for the herbal tarot as well, and maybe a couple of others that I show. But yeah, the artwork of this one is really beautiful, and I love the booklet. It's simple.
Oh,
It also uses the magical side to herbs. So there's rituals that you can do. There's some crafty things that you can do with herbs, some herbal recipes and teas and stuff like this. So it's always like fun to use this deck. And I have to say that I wish I used it even more than I do.
yeah.
And
I don't know why I don't use it more than I do. I'm think because I guess for me, it almost feels more like an oracle. Like
yeah,
I'd like to use it more as an oracle than a tarot. I don't know.
yeah. I was just thinking about it that like it's a bit overwhelming. Uh,
Yeah,
like somehow herbal tarot works better because it's like simple and it's just like recognizable. I don't know, Rider Waite Smith,
yeah,
and you get just the herb added. Here you have like this like abundance, like it's so rich on, like I think it's great deck for like intuitive reading because you have all these beautiful
yes,
plants and
yeah,
little snippets of like ritualistic items and landscapes and whatever. It's like beautiful, but it's in somehow overwhelming at times. So I think maybe
yeah. I
that's
don't know.
why that
And I
it's
love Joanna's artwork. You know, the guy in tarot is one of my top five
yeah,
tarot. So,
yeah.
and that's giving me an idea. Maybe I'll try doing a tarot reading with the guy in, and then just pull one card at the end from the herb crafter, like an oracle.
Yeah, yeah, and probably it can be used as an oracle without, I love that gems. I realized how when I came from Croatia, I put them onto the shelf, and I have now my shelves kind of covered because I just find it's like too messy. I feel like it's too much when I see all my cards, so I kind of covered them. And I forgot about it. And I was looking through my decks today and I was like, oh my God, my dead gems. Like, I
Oh, that's so
love this
pretty.
deck. Well, the artwork reminds me of Marc Chagall a little bit. Like
Yeah,
it has this feel a little bit of Picasso as well, or maybe, yeah, like kind of
yeah.
has this vibe of these two painters to me. And the book is really great as well. It has cool plants, a little bit a different take. So you get a plant and then all these little elements that the authors like kind of connect to the plant.
Right?
And there is something just beautiful about the artwork that really draws me in. And the booklet has its own system as well. They have like categories of the the herbs and so on. It's a really sweet one. I really like it. I got this one, recently. That's just for the flower essences, the healing flower color
Oh, I don't
cards.
know that one.
This is just color and flower essences. But I
Wow.
have to say that the meanings of the flower essences, they just, for example, heather, or like let's say Mimulus, it's feeling fearful. So it's split into those categories, 7 categories of emotions, like
Right.
Dr. Batch used to
The
do.
box, yeah.
And, but like when you know about essences, you can see like that sometimes it's just very like limited to
Mm.
see one word or like one sentence. So for Mimulus, they say like fear of everyday tragedies. That's it. Or for Vervain, they say overly missionary tendencies. I'm like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean. But if you know flower essences or if you have other books about flower essences, you can still use these ones as, like pendulum. Or if you're not sure what essence should I be using, is
Right,
this a good
right,
lessons
right.
for
No, I
me?
love that idea. That's
This one
great.
is really
Yeah.
cool. And at the backs, they have like colors, so you can use them also for color healing, like the title suggests. And there's two like groups. So one has just the descriptions of what the flower essence would be for, like that kind of fearful state, so that the kind of more negative emotional state. And then there is like mixture of different colors for healing, and the
I
other
love
set of the
this.
same essences, and they have like affirmation for healing, that you can use. So usually I would either pull one from these and one from this and see if the two kind of,
Mhm, mhm.
reflect my state or have something to offer, for or how I'm feeling at the moment. But this is a cool way to use cards for actually, yeah, picking an essential oil as well, but picking an essence or something like this. And
Right,
I
right.
trust this now. I just trust it. Even sometimes I feel like, no, that's totally not what I feel. And then when I actually stop and like go beyond what I think I'm feeling, what I'm actually feeling is
Right.
closer to what the card is fucking showing.
Sometimes you want to do that with the tarot reading. It's like, no, I don't want those cards.
It's not me. And then there's this Oracle of Essences. This is actually more for the essential oil deck. But it's also, the book is really great. It has, like wise words and how is the personality of an oil when it's in balance and how when it's out of balance,
Oh,
and
I
some
like that.
divinatory meanings, and also affirmation. And it has essential oils, but you can also use them as plants because it has like spearmint, cumin, and black pepper, and so on. And it's a collaborative deck, so the artwork has
Oh,
like all
yeah.
this different maybe vibe, not necessarily as coherent, but it's colorful, it's beautiful, it has a lot of cards. I think she also has some additional extras that you can purchase, and I use this deck a lot also in readings, and it used
Hmm,
to be quite spot on, this deck. It's really cool.
hmm.
I'm going to only share maybe another like 3. This flower medicine deck, I got it from Kathy Nichols. I love her artwork. This deck is fairly simple, I would say, and not to be like, well, it's simple in the sense that you get just a plant, and that's kind of it. It's beautiful. The cards are quite large, you get gilded, like the paper is really
Uh,
beautiful. She's a very like lovely, like multi, she uses different techniques. I forgot the
right.
word
Of
now.
arts, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and she used just flowers for this deck. So it's just flowers. Oh, I love that. What is it called? Holly,
Is it hollyhock?
hollyhock?
Hollyhock.
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 Yeah, I love it.
Beautiful. It's kind of
So
an old fashioned plant. I love it.
yeah, so it's
I made a flower
beautiful.
essence of it last summer. Yeah,
Yeah. What would
beautiful.
you use it for? What would you use it for?
So that was, it was, wow. So that, it was growing right outside there. You can, where you can kind of see. And it was calling to me to do a flower essence. And it was sort of the end of the season. And I had been thinking about this for a while, but procrastinating. So I looked out one day and I said, oh, I've got to make this flower essence, but I don't feel like it right now. And a hummingbird came right here outside this door, and it just, flew in right in front of me. And then it flew over to the hollyhock, and it flew back to me, and then it flew away. And I was like, oh, okay. So I made it. That night we had an unbelievable, horrible storm. And the next day the plant was gone. It was knocked over. It was, completely ruined by the rainstorm. So
Wow.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, and you listened.
It
Yeah.
was the color of it. It was a really, it was a real heart chakra color, this beautiful pinkish color. But it also had, so it was almost coral. So I thought, well, if I look at the color, I see the heart chakra, but I also see the solar plexus chakra. So I thought it was for kind of healing and balancing your will and your fire and your heart and your water. The healing, somehow joining those two together.
Yeah, it's interesting. So here the keyword is ambition. And
Oh, is it?
this deck doesn't have like a booklet. It has only this little pamphlet. So she
Yeah.
writes, ambition, you have big dreams and the drive to make them come true. Keep striving for your goals.
So
It's
that's
kind
kind of the solar plexus, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of interesting how it also could reflect the story, not like as ambition, but like, oh, should I do it? Should I not do it? But in the end, like you were encouraged to actually go for it and
Right.
do it
Right.
in the magical way. So this is a cute, oh, look, I just like had this hummingbird.
Ah.
So
Oh,
it's a really lovely deck, but I haven't actually worked with it very much yet. It was one of those new decks since after escaping the Ukraine drama from here, coming back home from Croatia, this deck came like was one of the first, and I was already when there was Jupiter Neptune conjunction in April, I was having those dreams about flower essences, and I was starting making my own flower essences. So, I'm like making my own mixtures now and like taking them and so on. So
I think
just
those are
proof.
so powerful, Kasha, because when you think of some big company making flower essences, I don't know, does it lose the spirit? When you make it yourself, you really have that connection.
Yeah, exactly. Because we don't know now. We talked about it before, right?
Yeah.
That's the bud flower essences. That's the whole set. It's very industrialized now. Apparently, they still keep. When you watch the videos, like I don't know, they still apparently keep to the presets
The
of
way
how
Dr. Bach
But
said to make
as
them.
you said, I don't know. I actually really feel like, for example, Lisa's and Deb's soul essences will be amazing. So I'm waiting for them to arrive.
Yeah.
The backed flowers, sometimes I really had like wow effect. I have stories when I just like took them and it was like, oh wow,
Right.
something
Right.
shifted. But
Amazing.
oftentimes like I don't feel anything and then I don't know that something, sometimes you might not feel it and you
Well,
still something might shift.
I remember when I kind of first started wondering about it, I had seen Rescue Remedy in the drugstore. And I'm like, if you're making so much of this that you have it in a drugstore chain, a pharmacy chain all over the US and God knows where else,
All over the
I don't
place.
know. Is it still as powerful a medicine as when Dr. Bach himself was making them? I
Yeah,
don't know.
exactly. That's a
Maybe
good
it is.
question.
I don't know.
That's a good question. I actually, I feel they work, the Bach flowers,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I keep wondering. it as well when it comes to yeah, like this maybe working in this sense that I would love them to work, because they can still work, but I think there is work, they work, and then there is also essences that can work and work, and there's like levels to working. So I
Right.
think they will work, but yeah, I'm checking my ones now, see for myself, because I'm also like, oh, can I make them and they as good as, I don't know, anybody else? Like, I'm just
But they're
checking how.
good for you because they're your connection to the plant,
Exactly,
the essence
exactly.
of that plant.
Exactly. And so, yeah, but this is also a bit of a road of discovery, right? Because here you have like a teacher and you have prepared stuff for you, which is good as I think, I always think it's a good as an introduction, but then you
Right.
go off and you do like, it's like with tarot, right? You learn about tarot, but then you go off and you break all the fucking rules and you twist and shift and kind of make something of your
Make it
own.
your own. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. How
exactly.
it works for you.
Have you seen this one, La Flora Tarot?
Yeah.
That's the one that I just received recently.
Is it
And
black and white?
it is black and white.
Yes,
So
yes, yeah,
for
yeah.
people who don't do black and white, it's not for you. But oh, it's printed like Usi decks, like pagan other
Oh,
worlds. And
mm,
it's a
so
little bit
nice.
maybe on the slippery side, so you have to be careful. But beautiful linen paper, just like, exquisitely made. And it has this flora card, which I love. And I
That's
always like, I just fell
beautiful.
in love with this image. And whenever I use this deck, I always pull her out. She's like a guardian of this deck. So I just like pull her out. She's always on top of
Right?
the reading, like overlooking the reading. And she's got some cool cards, like extra cards. So there's like a love, hope, faith, and luck. And I thought it would be a cool idea to, like pull 4 cards from the deck, like
Oh,
put them
that's a
on the
great idea.
sides.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She also has a couple of decks, cards. So one is the Seeker also, which is really beautiful with the little bee. And then she also has something like this, which I thought could be like a yes,
Oh,
a no, maybe, or other way around. And like maybe,
maybe? Yeah. Oh,
maybe.
I love that. I
And
love
I
that.
thought sometimes also you can do like what's in the light, what's in the shadow. How can you like, bring them both together? So you could put this 3 and then put 3 of the other cards underneath. And actually it's not your beginner's deck because it's quite unusual. So this, it has the name of the card, Ace of Pentacles, and then it has the plant in English and in Latin, and that's it. So nothing else. And so it's quite difficult maybe for some people to, like when
Wow.
I looked at it, I thought like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to read it. But I actually did test it for a couple of days and I am able to read it. And I thought, okay, you can read it, especially when you know tarot and you know some of the plants and the book she made for it. Oh my fucking God. Like I don't have the physical copy, but I have because that was a review
Yeah,
copy. She sent me the PDF version. It's amazing. Like art, how it's written, just like beautiful. It's more on the heady side, it has a lot of information, a lot of kind of quotes from old like old philosophers, old herbalists and stuff. She was
wow.
doing some research. So yeah, I am actually really like it's beautifully made and beautiful project, and maybe not something for everybody because it's quite like in the niche side of things, I think. But yeah, if you like black and white and you like, this type of decks, that it's pretty interesting. It's something different for sure. And
Wow.
Flora
Amazing.
overlooks. So that's a new one. And I also thought I'm going to just share 2 that are not really plant decks, but they have a lot of plants, like this, Tarot of the Mystical
Oh, I love
Moments.
that deck.
It's
You
so
know, it's
beautiful.
funny, the Oracle came out and I didn't like it. It didn't speak to me. I had no desire to get it. And then the tarot came out and I thought, oh, I don't want that. I don't, and I'm like, oh my God, I love this.
It's really
Love
great.
that.
And it doesn't have, of course, a plant on every card, but it has a lot of plants and it's just so enchanted and
Whimsical.
mystical,
Yeah,
and
54. I love it. I love it.
I really, really love it too. So some of yeah, that would be like our Malin story, mate. Malin story. Lungs,
Yeah.
breath, It's beautiful. So this one I kind of like to use as like a reminder sometimes. Yeah, when we're talking about beauty, when beauty heals, it's such a beautiful, soulful, intuitive,
Gorgeous.
beautiful deck. And also this one, this intuitive night goddess
Oh, I
tarot,
love this one.
right? It
Love,
has so many plants.
I meant to say about the flora, fauna, this deck, that I love pairing it with that intuitive night goddess.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, and this one has plants on every card.
Yes.
Sometimes I
Oh
cannot.
my gosh, I just love that deck too.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. So, yeah, this one was like which I got still like when I was in Croatia because you can get it from like it's mass published, which is really, I'm
I
I know
love
I know
how
it
she,
sounds horrible, but I start loving Amazon being in Europe because
well,
otherwise, oh my God, I got hit hard for fucking
yeah.
paying for
Well,
decks. Now for these essences that that I'm receiving, this is like I the set is $90, I think, or $94. I'm paying that much for taxes. Plus, okay, I was lucky, like my friend sent it to me. I didn't have to pay for
What?
postage, but I have to pay now all these taxes for everything. So
So how can somebody send something to you and have you not have to pay
you
duty or
can't.
tax?
I'm paying for every review copy that I'm getting. I'm paying money, not as much,
But
but I'm
still,
paying. But I have to pay for every parcel from outside
even
of
if you
European
say it's a
Union.
gift,
Oh yeah, you have to say it's a gift. I mean, they are gifts,
yeah.
but that doesn't matter. Like you pay for anything. I think they were protecting themselves because everybody was getting stuff from China, all this AliExpress and all of this stuff.
Oh
And
yeah.
suddenly from last year, from July, before that wasn't like this, but last year, July, every parcel from outside European Union gets taxed.
So if something got sent to you and I said the value was $10,
Yeah, they will just let it probably through. I would just pay for this like postal fees, which is like a minimum, which is about like $5 or $6. So that's okay.
wow.
But if it's anything like more expensive, or if like you put invoice in and it's like yeah, and then I have to pay 24%, I think, of the value.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Welcome to Europe. We love it.
Wow.
We love it here. So anyway, I'm not going to show any more of the decks. I maybe just like mention that also, just finishing on those decks that are not really plant decks, but also have this,
Oh, I love those two.
like these two
Oh,
as well. And they have mycelium and they have moss, like stuff that maybe like we both love as well. So they're really
oh,
beautiful,
I love
especially the
those
faceted
two.
garden oracle. It
That's
has
the one.
that.
I think I like that one better, but they're both beautiful.
Yeah, they are both beautiful. And they also have this like, and the card Herbal
Gorgeous.
Allies or
And that's beautiful cardstock too, I
Spring,
think.
New Moon,
Oh,
Cultivation. It's beautiful. I really, really
gorgeous.
love this. Love this. But fuck,
Gorgeous.
it's so good. I've just having so many decks. The only bummer about it, I'm not one of those people who will ever regret having many decks. I don't, and I'm never going to because I love having many decks. But the only bummer about it is that you don't get to use so many. Like there's so many amazing ones, and I still keep rotating all the time. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like I'm going to pause on the
Well,
reviews copies. I only take decks that I like anyway. I don't take reviews to
right.
like, oh, okay, can I send you a deck?
Right.
No,
Well,
can't if I don't like it.
why take decks you don't like? I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I don't want it.
you
Like,
know,
why
yeah,
would
we
I
have,
do it?
oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
know,
but
I know. It's funny. I've heard people kind of first I feel like in the tarot world it was get more decks, get more decks, get more decks. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh no, get rid of decks, get rid of decks, get rid of decks. Don't collect. And I'm like, well, you know what? I do have a collection of decks. And I've been reading tarot for 35 years. And so over the course of those years, I've gathered up a collection,
yeah,
but I love them.
yeah,
I love my cards and I
yeah.
use them. And I do even have a few that I love, but I don't really use. But oh well.
Yeah, I guess it's like, really personal. Some people like it's overwhelming when you have so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
many.
Well,
For
that's
some
true.
people, like
That's true.
it's just like collecting dust or whatever. Like I keep using all of my decks, but yeah, it's just not enough time in life to
There's
Just,
not.
yeah, I'm not looking at this faceted garden. I'm thinking, oh, definitely pulling this out now. I want it. All right. So moving on, let's maybe share your favorite recipes and then we can finish on this and we're not
Yeah.
going to make it.
So I thought I would start with the tea, and this is the tea I'm drinking right now. And this is a really simple tea. So it has the wild rose, the Rosa rugosa petals. It has lemon balm, and both lemon balm and rose are cooling. So it's a great summer tea because it cools you, soothes you, and calms you. And I am drinking this like room temperature. So I don't really want a hot tea. It's really hot out today. So that's nice. I drink it room temperature, or you could put ice and have it cold. So it's rose petal, it's lemon balm. As I said, those are both cooling and soothing. It has St. John's wort flower. Somewhere I put this. Oops. Oh, St.
Yeah.
John's wort flowers. So I think to me, the real magical thing about St. John's wort is it's a yellow flower, but it makes
Red oil or red
red
infusion.
oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's because when you gather these blossoms together and you pinch it, you can get, I don't know, you can't really see it, but I don't know if you can see on my finger
Yeah.
how it's red. Yeah. So that's the hypericin, which is the active healing constituent, and it's in the buds. So that's when you want to pick it and make the oil and the tincture. But you can use this for the tea when it's flowering, or, we
Yeah,
call
that's
it
what I wanted to
flower
ask you.
butter.
When you drink your tea, do you drink it from dry herbs or do you drink it from fresh herbs or
Well,
both?
I love fresh herbal tea. But of course, I can't drink fresh herbal tea year round, this herb is in the rose. I can't even show you the roses because I only are getting a few a day now.
Yeah.
So, the dry is great because you can preserve it and have the tea in the winter or whenever the herbs aren't at their peak. So yeah.
Yeah.
Some things, this is fresh, except for, so it's lemon balm, rose, St. John's wort fresh, and then it has milky oats, the top
Oh,
of
okay.
the milky oats, but they're dried. And
Yeah.
I just steep it, and it's lovely. And it's calming, cooling, soothing, uplifting, this beautiful, cheerful St. John's wort. So that's a lovely herbal tea. And then I thought another thing to do would be a foot bath. So two of the same ingredients, the rose petals and the lemon balm, because they're both cooling, and then lavender flowers. I do like the lavender flowers dried. I feel like they're more potent then and have more impact, and comfrey. So you make a nice strong tea, let it cool off, put it into a basin, and you can soak your feet, and it will, soften and soothe your skin, and it will cool you down. Those are cooling herbs. And then the last thing I wanted to share was a salve. So it's an all-purpose salve, and I already showed you the St. John's wort oil. Sorry, I'm not more organized here. This is calendula oil.
And
Then
calendula oil, do you make just from the flowers or from
just the
the...
flowers. And I have learned over the years that I will dry wilt the calendula flowers. You want let me grab one.
This is such a good advice that you gave me with wilting, because making oils, I always, yeah, there was too much water and
Yes, and
there
they
were just
can
something
go
wrong with
bad.
my oils.
So, whoops, here's an
The
orange
fresh
and a
one.
yellow. And you want to make sure you keep that green part on. That's you can feel it when you pick it. You can feel like the stickiness. So you want that. But I have a whole I have them all drying over there, so they're going to dry wilt for maybe even a week, and then I'll put them in the oil.
Oh, nawet, so even a week, like.
Yeah, I want them to be pretty dry. And some herbalists swear by making calendula oil with completely dried, but I kind of go halfway.
Okay, I
Yeah,
like it.
so that's the calendula, and then the other one is the plantain. So those
And
three
plantain, sorry, and plantain, you just use the leaves or also those stalks with
no,
the
I just
flowers?
use you should pick it
Just
when
the
it's
leaves.
not flowering, because that's when all the power, once it starts
Strongest.
to flower, the power is kind of going more into the flower than the leaf. So use it when it's just the leaf,
Yeah,
not flowering.
yeah.
So yeah, so you just, chop it up, you make the oils, and then, so I would mix equal parts of those three oils. And then for every ounce of oil, I would add a teaspoon of beeswax. So you would take, say, 4 ounces of the oil, or let's say 6 ounces of the oil and 6 teaspoons of the beeswax. And you would want to, you don't want to have the direct heat on, you don't want to destroy the active constituents, healing constituents. So you put the beeswax in the oil. I would use a double boiler, or you can even put it like right in a glass jar in very low heat until the beeswax is melted, and just stir it up, pour it into your containers and let it harden. And then it's all purpose. So the St. John's water is good for burns and problems with nerve endings, rashes, cuts. The calendula is amazing skin healing, antiseptic, antibacterial, and so antifungal. And the plantain is also same, really great, even for like psoriasis and eczema. So that's a great all-purpose salve to make, and you will find all those herbs pretty much growing right around you. They're easy to grow yourself or to
Yeah,
wildcraft.
just harvest wild because they all over the place as well here. I love them. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for the sharing the recipes. I hope people will try this out. Before we say goodbye, I wanted to speak a little bit about essential oils and flower
Yeah.
essences as well. So, do you use also? I mean, I know that you use flower essences and you make them as well. You also
Yes.
sell some stuff, right? Is it? Do you?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So I have 2 little things here. I just grabbed these. This is 2 things I make: Hear the Angels Sing and Heal Your Heart. So I make both of these. This has Angelica flower essence and Angelica essential oil in it. And this is, just to open you up, as I said, from the root chakra to the crown chakra, to help all your chakras get in balance and, be interacting on a healthy balance with each other. And then this one is Heal Your Heart. This one I made with rose essential oil. And I made rose quartz gem essence and rose flower essence. So of course it smells beautiful. It's really uplifting, heart healing, heart opening, heart soothing. Yeah.
I wish I lived in the States.
I
I would be like,
know.
it's so funny. But this is really beautiful. And I know sometimes seasonally you also create like creams or rose
Yeah,
elixirs,
yeah,
which I
yeah,
was like
yeah.
always looking at, like looks so amazing. So if anybody lives in the States and not in Europe, so you don't have to
I
like,
know, right?
do this whole fucking postal shit. You guys take a look at Liz's. I will link is it sold through your website, Liz, or?
Just through my Instagram.
Okay, so I just link your Instagram and
My
people can
Instagram. Yeah.
ask you. So what do you think about essential oils? Because there's also all this like with comfrey a bit. Don't use essential oils, use essential oils,
Yeah,
love
I
essential
love them,
oils.
Tasha.
Me too.
I do. I love them. And I hear the concerns that people have, because it takes like a ton, literally a ton of rose petals to make a quart of rose essential oil, something, I don't know exactly, but it's some crazy amount. So I guess how I feel about these things is we need to be moderate and thoughtful about how we use them. And we also need to be very careful about where we get our
Get, yeah,
essential oils, because there's a lot, first of all, there's a lot of fake ones out there.
yeah,
And there's, or, like it says it's rose, but it's not.
yeah,
And then there are some essential oil companies that really exploit people who make essential oils, like especially in countries like India and countries in Africa. And, they don't pay the people who are making the essential oils or growing the plants very much money. And
yeah,
then they sell it for big bucks. So you
yeah,
want to make sure that the people you're getting them from are ethical, and they do it in a sustainable way, because like sandalwood,
mm,
for a while there, they just kind of went in and plowed down all these sandalwood trees. And, so
yeah,
you have to be
yeah,
careful. So I
yeah.
think it's just like anything, be careful about where you source them and don't overuse them. They're special,
Yeah, and they very concentrated form of the
Oh,
plant
so
as well.
concentrated.
So, yeah, if you buy good quality, first of all, they're going to last for a long time. I don't believe those expiry dates. Like, I
No.
use oils
And
longer than
I think you just have to be careful where you store them. So
store them.
you want to store them in a dark, cool place
Yes,
where they're
not in
not
like the
exposed to
direct
light or
sunlight.
heat. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I also love them, and I don't know, just this is another like sense that you involve when you work with essential oils, and the
Oh,
smell is like really amazing. So I also think like whenever I like cannot breathe well or something, I used to like buy those bottles with the rollers and just have jojoba oil or whatever, sweet almond oil, and just mix some oils,
mm.
like my own medicine, like put it in the back of
It's
my neck on
medicine.
my, and it just
And
smells so
things go
good.
straight from your skin into your body. And, they say if you put something on the heel or on the bottom of your foot, you can feel it come up through your body. I mean, we
Yeah.
really do absorb things through our skin a lot.
Actually, this is really good. You can guys try if you have vetiver oil, like a drop of vetiver oil on like this middle point of the foot, like the liver point. Oh, it's just so good. And when you, for example, unsettled or stressed out at night and you want to just come down and go to sleep, like just gently putting your finger, not pressing, just like this touch
Mm.
therapy, like putting your finger with the drop of vetiver oil on your foot.
Oh, I love
It
vetiver.
calmed me
Love it.
down like a little bit, like, yeah, magic. But also making oils, like mixing whatever you like now I'm doing this father work, so I mixed some stuff that like, for me would be just like a holy oil about masculine or whatever. So, like doing this type of things, essences, making your own mist or perfumes, it doesn't last very long maybe with the perfume, but at least it's
It's
natural and you don't have to worry about
magical,
it.
right? It's alchemical. It's just,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I think this is also like probably another interview to talk about it. But there are also lovely essential oils decks, and this one I showed. But there's also another one that I really love. It's like the small purple one. Oh, I don't know. I don't have it on me, and I don't feel like going and looking for it somewhere now. But um, anything with essential oils is also something like it's a big love of me for me, and it's like I love like learning about it, reading books
Yeah.
about
Mhm.
oils, and like the science side of it, but also this alchemical side to essential oils. And I remember when I lived in Australia, I used to work in like a hippie shop which is called Tree of Life, and next to us was an essential oil shop,
Oh,
was
wow.
this Australian brand called Perfect Potion, And yeah, we were friends with the girls from the shop. They used to do workshops, and we just used to learn a lot from them. They were really well trained as well in aromatherapy and holistic healing. So
It's
I learned a
amazing.
lot there.
It's amazing aromatherapy, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
It really
yeah.
is.
So do you have a favorite like essential oil? Like, would it be rose right now, or what do you like?
Well, I do for the basic all-purpose, I really do love lavender. Like if
Oh,
I could only have one essential oil, it would be lavender, just
wow.
because it's so all-purpose and it's
Yeah,
not super expensive.
true.
It's readily available, and we don't have to, because lavender is flower and you don't have to like chop down a beautiful ancient tree. It comes back every year. I have a friend who lives in Provence, and I keep saying I have to go visit them when the lavender is in bloom. And she
Mm,
said we just drive through Provence, and grandmas and grandpas at the end of their driveway will have essential lavender essential oil for sale, that from the lavender. It's everywhere.
yeah.
And it's so all purpose. But I do love rose, I do love angelica, and I do love vetiver. Those I love.
Mm.
Yeah.
I have to get Angelica at some point. I will splash up. Like, I want to know how it smells. But my favorite probably is vetiver. I love those. Oh, just love vetiver. And
Well,
I
if you
bought
love
recently
vetiver, you're
spikenard.
gonna love angelica, because they're very similar in terms of
Oh,
the,
really? Yeah.
yeah,
I thought Angelica would be much more maybe. Yeah, because it's root. I thought it would be much more
fruit.
kind of flowery. But yeah, interesting. I will check. I also love spikenard, that ancient shit. It has such an amazing, unusual smell. Like, I
It is
never knew how
unusual.
it smelled till I bought it. And I smelled it and I was like, oh my God, it smells like wood, uh, like old wood, herbs, some, like,
Yeah,
so much depth. Like, it
yeah.
goes forever, this scent. Like, you smell and it just keeps changing. Like, it's amazing. I love it. And unfortunately, I like those expensive one. I
I
love
know, I know.
frankincense.
I also love balsam fir and pine.
Yeah,
So those are
yeah.
lovely, and those aren't expensive.
But I
Those,
also love orange, for example. Always makes me
yes,
smile,
it's so
always lifts me
fresh.
up. It's
I
very
love it.
happy. Yeah.
Um, Around Yule, I will mix 6 drops of orange, 3 drops of, or 3 parts of balsam fir, and 1 drop cinnamon.
Oh, and
And
do
I'll
you
just,
add, I would add clove to it, like tiny little bit
yeah,
of
or
clove as well.
clove. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's
But it's
very,
yum.
oh, it's just
Mm,
lovely, and I'll put
yeah,
that in my little diffuser, and it smells so good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And do you use diffusers? Like, do you use those, for like cold water? I have this for cold water. I have the one which is
Yes.
just for essential oils,
Yep.
like this one, nebulizer. But this one
I
is,
don't have one like that. The one I have is like, it's vibrational, like you put water in and you
yeah,
put the
so
drops of
like
oil,
this one.
and it also it also changes colors.
Yeah, 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 they do. This one as well, but this one you use only pure essential oil. So sometimes when I'm sick or when I, like I put some eucalyptus or tea tree or something, like if I want to just use, because
Yeah.
that's like works only for a couple of minutes and then you have to have a break because it's just really concentrated.
Too intense. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not something that I would use like every day, all ongoing, but like if you
Right.
want to really get the potency of the oil, this one is really great. So, anything else, Liz, that we want to add? I think.
I just want to encourage people to get to know the plants around them. One of the things that I notice some people do is, they have to get the herb from India or China when they're from Europe or the United States. And it's like, get to know the plants that are around you. I always feel like the plants that I need are growing right out in my yard or in a park near me, or in the woods or whatever. And it's more sustainable and better for the earth if we use the plants that are right near us. And that is one thing about essential oils, that, and it's why I say, be careful about how you use them, because it takes a lot of plant material to make a small amount of oils.
Yeah,
But then again, they're
definitely.
concentrated. So yeah.
Definitely. And then like they last for a very long time. So if you're respectful, if you don't just like drop it all over the place, plus, like you wouldn't even like like if you pay for a good amount, like good quality, anything, frankincense or rose, like you
Right.
can't, there's like
Right.
precious gold, like it's
Right.
so
They're
expensive.
precious. They're
Yeah,
precious. Yeah.
exactly. And they are
Yeah.
precious and they should be precious. Yeah.
Right.
So I thought like to finish off, I'm going to pull one of those power
Oh, great.
flowers card, and maybe you pull one. Maybe you
Okay.
put one of the cards as well, and we can just say goodbye by seeing what plant message do we get collectively now.
I love that.
So I got buttercup. I don't know this plant. Do you know buttercup?
Yes, it grows in my lawn. It's just like, and when we were kids, you used to hold it up under your chin and say, "Do you like butter?" And if the yellow shone up on your under your chin, it meant you loved butter. So it's just a little,
You love butter.
wildflower. Yeah.
Oh, well, I want to
Very
see.
sweet.
I want to see what she says about the buttercup. Let me just check quickly because that's the one that I don't know. I don't know if it grows here or not, even. I have to check what's the translation into Polish. But it says the flower essence carries an enticement to quiet surrender, beckoning one to ride the magic carpet of blissful love into the inner regions of the essential self, where purity and innocence reside. And I think this is an important message for us to connect to that purity and innocence, because there's so much horrible stuff going on outside, and yet the purity and innocence still exists somewhere. So to
Almost like a Six of Cups kind of a message in
yeah,
a way.
like remind ourselves exactly. And it's a
Yeah.
beautiful remedy for children and adults alike who yearn for the sacrament of the angelic essence, their original phase before they were born. Buttercup restores and heals the inner child, helping us
Yeah.
remember the creative gifts we carry into the world.
Perfect.
Archetype is divine child. So if you like butter,
And who
butter
doesn't?
yourself up with some innocence. But it's
So
a lovely image.
I honestly didn't cheat, but this is the card I got.
Ah, see, you are Miss Angelica. That's it.
So yeah, so I think let's see. I don't know where I put the guidebook. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So let's see. So you would not have been given an earthly body if you were not meant to anchor that which is perfect, infinite, and eternal in material form. Each incarnation in the human realm is a privilege. Without a doubt, as you read these words, you are especially close to the angelic world. Which angel is near you now? Michael, angel of truth, Uriel, angel of visions, Gabriel, angel of love, or Raphael, angel of healing. The angels offer you a shimmering umbrella grounding the forces of light in your human experience. And it's interesting, she used the term umbrella because I don't know if you remember, but I mentioned that Angelica is in the family of plants called Umbrellae. So yeah. So Angelica, so the flower essence is derived from this most heavenly and rooted of plants, helps one to establish a firm connection between the refined, subtle realm of the angelic light surrounding us and the tangible, material, grounded world which anchors us to earth. And that was the
Beautiful.
message that I got from the plant itself when I made my Angelica flower
And
essence.
that's fascinating when they you get a connection, personal connection. Very often they are like you find that somebody else has
Has
thought
that
about
too.
the same thing, that there is this kind
It
of like a common.
confirms that you're not making it up.
Yeah, which is lovely. That's like getting a card reading or astrology reading also, like you kind of I really feel like we know everything, or we kind of when we sit down and plug in, like we know, but when somebody like a stranger confirms to you like what's going on, what
Right,
cycle you in and so
right.
on, that kind of makes you believe it even more, or like inspire you to something,
Yeah,
so
I
that's,
agree.
yeah, that's like this common field. Anyway, thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
Liz, for
Kasha. That was
was
fun.
was so awesome. Yeah, I'm like, I hope we inspired people to, take care of the plants, respect the plants, use the plants in a respectful way, because they are our friends and they keep us, healthy and
Our
sane.
allies. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I wish you guys all the best. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions. We might, answer them in the comments. And Liz, thank you so much for your
Thank you,
generous
my friend.
sharing and just, yeah, thank you for being a friend for so many years. And I will see you around in the
All
virtual
right.
reality. Thank you
Okay.
so much. See you. And thank you for
Bye.
everyone for watching. Bye. Oi.
Oh my goodness.